Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Coffee with Katie. So before we start talking about this video, I wanted to make an announcement. I am a rep for Fable Grounds Coffee for January through April of 2023. I could not be more thrilled to announce this. I cannot believe it. I am so excited. I love coffee, you've watched my channel, and this is actually one of my favorite coffee brands ever because I really like the roasts and the different flavored coffees they do. I'm really big into flavored coffee. I know as a coffee snob, I probably should not be, but I just think it's really fun and really enjoy it. And this company is fantastic. They're a women-owned brand and kind of like a second income type of a situation. They really like bookish themed things, and that's why they started this company, is they wanted a bookish themed coffee. And we order from them all the time. Like I said, me and my husband really love this coffee and this coffee company. I actually have two right now. So right now we're drinking Night Court. This is the Mountain Blend. And this one is not flavored, but it's really good. And on deck, we also have Pride and Prejudice, which is their Pemberley roast, which I believe is kind of like a hazelnutty toffee vanilla something situation, but their coffees are so good. One I really loved that they don't have anymore, but I wonder if they'll bring it back in the future, is the Shadow Blend. That was the Darkling themed coffee. It's the best coffee I've ever had. It was so good. I also really enjoyed the New York, I think it was New York Latte, and it was like inspired by Henry from The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, and it was so creamy. I don't know how they did that, but it was so good. Anyway, obviously I talk about them regardless because I love their coffee and I'm able to rep for them for a few months, which is so exciting for me. And I do have a code to share with you. I don't earn any income off of this code. It's just a discount for you guys to use. I'm just able to talk about them because I want to and I love it. And I also get a discount, which why would I not if I already order from them all the time and love them? They also have mugs and clothing. I've actually never bought any of their clothing, but I bought many of their stoneware mugs. I love their stoneware mugs and stoneware mugs in general. I think they're just really well made. They're handmade by like local artisans, and I truly believe they keep my coffee and tea hotter longer than other mugs, and I'm sure there's a reason behind that with the thick stoneware and how it like holds in the heat. You can also like bake things in them, which I've never done, but if that's your thing, you can do that. So they have other things too, not just coffee. I know sometimes they've also had hot chocolate in the past, but their main thing is coffee. So if you'd like to try any of their products, you can use my code RENEGADE10. This is off of my Instagram, Renegade Reader. I also have the code linked down below, but you can use that code if you would like to make an order and try out their amazing coffee. Now that we've talked about them, today's video is going to be a project that I'm working on. I'm not really sure what to call this except last chance books. I mentioned this in a previous video, but I've been working on unhauling books. I haven't unhauled them yet. I'm just kind of working on making the decisions and separating them and just kind of mentally preparing myself to do an unhaul in a video. You will see it, fear not. But there was a few books that I wasn't sure about. I didn't know if I wanted to get rid of them, but I've been hanging on to them for a while and I just wasn't sure what to do. And I've seen Emily Fox do something. I'm gonna borrow elements of what she does, but it's not exactly the same. What I've seen her do is she'll take books that have been on her shelf for a really long time, she'll pick like 3 of them and she'll do like a reading vlog or something. She'll take those 3 books and she'll read the first chapter of each of the books and kind of decide which one she wants to continue, if any. And sometimes she'll just pick it up, read the first chapter, and then she'll keep going. Sometimes she'll pick it up, read the first chapter, and say, I want to see what else there is. And then at the end of the video, she'll either continue reading, get rid of them, keep them, whatever she decides. I'm going to do something kind of like that, but more of a hybrid situation where I have several books that I've picked out in advance on my TBR cart over here. Let me just... So you can see some of them right here. There's also some behind. So I have them on this top shelf of my TBR cart in advance. The rest of it I use for like when I'm collecting my books that I've hauled. So like right here is other books that are not a part of this, but this right here is a part of this, okay? Welcome back. So I have these books picked out in advance, right? So I put the last chance books on my TBR cart, and the goal is if I haven't read them to get rid of them. What I'm thinking of doing, like I said, a little bit of a hybrid of what Emily Fox does, is to read the first chapter of a handful of books and see if I want to continue them or if I want to get rid of them. The other caveat I'm going to put on these is if I haven't read them in 3 months, I have to get rid of them. And, you know, some of these I really don't want to get rid of. Some of these I really truly want to read and may read, but I can probably find it on Scribd, or I can probably find it in my library. And so I'm going to try to work on reading through these, starting them, finishing them. One of them I've already read the first chapter. I've read a decent amount of it, but I really need to finish it. And if I don't read it in the next few months, then I just need to get rid of it because I'm not reading it. There's a couple that I bought because I thought I would like them. There's a couple book of the month books on here when I was subscribed to that way back in the day that I think I will love, and others that I'm really not sure how I'll feel about. But like I said, the goal would be to read some of them or start reading them, and then if I'm not interested in them, unhaul them. And if I do get interested in them, you know, I can keep them, I can finish them, but making myself work through that decision, seeing if I'm actually enjoying it, or maybe I am really enjoying it, but I don't think it's going to be a favorite book, I can unhaul it and I can listen to it somewhere else. So I think that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm trying to work more on unhauling and not just keeping stuff around forever and never reading it. I'm sure that's a struggle for everyone here because we just love books so much. And I have like the FOMO where I'm afraid that I'm gonna get rid of a book that I haven't given a chance and it's gonna be a favorite book. So to try to combat that mindset a little bit and that fear of mine, I'm gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna read some of it, see if I'm interested. And if I'm just really not into it, maybe I'll get rid of it. But if I haven't touched it in 3 months, and I haven't touched it for as long as I've had them, which is at least since 2020, I think, or at least a lot of them, then maybe I'm not going to, and just kind of reconciling that with myself and get rid of it. So now that you kind of know the ground rules and what I'm going to be doing, let me just show you the books that are in question, that are on the chopping block, if you will. The first one is Godblind by Anna Stevens. On the front it says The Red Gods Are Rising. I think I got this for like $3 and it sounded really interesting. The cover's really pretty, but it's just one of those things that I just haven't been picking it up and I haven't had motivation to get to, so this is going to be one of them. And on the back it says, the time has come for the veil between worlds to be broken and for the red gods to unleash their fury. From what I can glean from the synopsis, that I'm just going to try to make very vague and very simple, is that there is a seer who is the most amazing seer, who is the best seer in years, and he wants to fight to save the kingdom, but the crown prince wants to steal the throne from his father by using the red gods, which involves like dark rituals and bloody sacrifices, as the seers and the other people are trying to work with the gods of light and life, basically trying to prevent the red gods from coming down to earth and wreaking havoc. So it does sound good. It sounds like something I would like, right? But here it is, unread. So this is the first one. The next one is one I'm really interested in, and I really don't want to get rid of it, so I should probably make it a priority, is Ashlords by Scott Rankin. I'm not really sure how to say his name, but doesn't this cover look so cool? From what I know about this, this is basically a magical race with these horses made of ash and fire, and it just sounds so cool. I think they're called Phoenix horses. Yeah, Phoenix horses. Isn't that cool? This magical race, there's 11 riders, only one can win obviously, but 3 have more to lose than the rest. And on the back it says, Imelda is a dividend too poor to afford the cost of entry until her alchemy videos create a media storm, throws her headfirst into the competition as a fan favorite. Pippa is an Ash Lord, the ruling class, and the expected winner, but when she falls for the competitor, will she ruin her chances of inheriting the crown? Adrian is a longhand, known for their vast wealth and failed rebellions. He is a symbol of resolution and the last chance for his people to rise against the Ash Lord. Only one can win the crown. So it sounds amazing. I think I will love this, and I really don't want to get rid of it, so I should probably put it on my TBR soon. And at least try to read the chapter. Next is another one that I really don't want to get rid of, but I really need to read it, and that's Fireborn by Rosaria Munda. This is about dragons, and I think it's a more of a political fantasy with dragons. I've heard it's amazing. Elliot Brooks talks about this series and this book in this series all the time. She talks about how the author studied political science, and she's very good at using the politics, and it's just written really well. It's also kind of, I believe, Russian inspired. And it has to do with dragon riders, which are the ruling class. And there's 2 lowborn children that are given the chance to compete to become dragon riders. And it follows 2 characters. One of them is lowborn and one of them is aristocratic, but they're both given the chance to compete to become dragon riders. And they are both orphans and kind of have formed a friendship at the orphanage, even though they're on like separate sides of this political issue and they don't necessarily know it yet. Betrayal, enemies, things like that I think are gonna ensue. It sounds amazing. It has dragons in it. I love dragons, so I really want to read this. I really don't want to get rid of it, so gotta get to it. Next is the Guinevere Deception by Kirsten White. So from what I remember about this is a King Arthur retelling of Guinevere and Arthur. And they want to protect Arthur, so they send Guinevere, who's actually a changeling, into the court to marry Arthur. And he doesn't know she's a changeling, and so she's kind of trying to infiltrate everything about his kingdom to keep him safe, but things ensue. It sounds interesting. I have heard not good things about it, but I'm still kind of interested in it, so we'll see. Next is Havenfall by Sarah Holland. The cover's really pretty. I believe this is kind of like an urban fantasy. It kind of confuses me, to be honest. Essentially, it's about this town, Havenfall, and the main character's mother was accused of murdering her brother, and I'm not sure if that plays into it, if that's like a past thing. But years later, another body is found, and there's kind of like, I guess, a murder mystery element, and there's also a dangerous creature on the loose. So I know it's like fantasy, but it's very vague, and I don't really know, and I don't know if it's my vibe, but we'll see. Next is Things in Jars by Jess Kidd. I remember picking this because I think it had something to do with a tattooed ghost, and that sounded hilarious to me. So this little snippet says, Victorian London comes to life in this spellbinding mystery as an intrepid female sleuth wades through a murky world of collectors and criminals to recover a remarkable child. And her search is aided by an enchanting cast of characters, including a 7-foot-tall housemaid, a melancholic tattoo-covered ghost, and an avuncular apothecary. Okay, that sounds a little bit better than I remember. Yeah, I haven't picked it up and I need to, so next is Nameless Queen, Rebecca McLaughlin. This sounded pretty interesting to me, and I think Elliot Brooks talked not necessarily highly of it, but like it was good, it was decent. I was curious about it. It says Crowned by Chance, Rebel by Choice. And essentially this follows like a caste system of the nameless, and they're so like worthless, none of them are named, they don't have names, and a lot of them are going missing and nobody seems to care. So I guess she steps into the role of being queen, and then it goes from there. So it actually sounds really interesting and really good, which is why I got it in the first place, but I just haven't picked it up, so I need to, and if not, it needs to go. This next one, I was really excited about it, and I think I almost bought it when it came out, but I ended up buying it at like an outlet place later. And that is Red Hood by Elena K. Arnold. This is a Red Riding Hood retelling, and essentially the main character's been good her whole life, and then she finds herself running away from this wolf in the woods, and then when the moon rises, a lot of questions arise. So I don't really know what that means, but I was pretty intrigued by the concept of a Red Riding retelling, and it looks like it's kind of like werewolfy. So I was pretty excited about this book, but I've never picked it up, and so I really need to. So that's why this is on here, but like I really don't want to get rid of this, so we'll see. That one's kind of on there to push me to read it. And I would say this one is also on here to push me to read it. This was a book that I started, put down, never picked up again. I got like 100 pages in. I was enjoying it and just never picked it up again. And that is Forest of Souls by Lori M. Lee. The cover's beautiful. The story was very intriguing to me, and there's a lot of elements with the magic with the shamans. And I've read, like I said, 100 pages, which is about here in the book. And I just really need to finish it to see if I want to read the second one. And if not, I should probably get rid of it, but that'll make me very sad because I don't want to get rid of it. I want to read it, but I really, really need to read this, so this is on here. Essentially, you're following a character who has been training her whole life to be the queen's assassin and spy and magic is like forbidden in this. They're seen as evil, and then somebody kills her friend, and she brings her friend back to life with magic, and so now she's on the run. And I was really liking it, so hopefully I will pick this up again. This isn't going to be a chapter situation, this is going to be like a trying to finish it situation or get rid of it. This next one is a duology, so I'm just going to hold them both up at the same time. But that is Dividing Eden by Jolie Charbonneau and Eden Conquered. I thought I would really enjoy this duology, obviously, because I got it, but I just haven't been picking it up, so I need to push myself to try it. On the first one, it says 2 siblings, 1 crown, a battle that neither can win. I think the cover's really pretty. Essentially, you're following 2 sisters who are technically in line for succession, but they think that they'll never get there until the king and the crown prince are assassinated, and they're trying to decide who's going to be taking the throne. And so they decide that these 2 sisters are going to be competing in these trials of virtuitous succession, and the one that wins will become the ruler. But it kind of tests the bonds of the trust that they have together in family and maybe pits them against each other. So it sounds really good, but I have to pick it up if I want to read it. This next one is a situation that I think I can blame Hallmark Christmas movies for, and that is Prince Charming by Rachel Hawkins. This is a contemporary novel, like a contemporary YA romance, and I don't know why I ever bought this, but I think it's because I really enjoy like Hallmark movies and stuff like that when I'm watching the movie, but reading it, I'm not really a big fan. especially of contemporary, but I was really hoping I would like this, so if I'm going to read it, I have to read it soon. I actually didn't know this, but essentially the main character gets drawn into the royalty world because her sister gets engaged to the Prince of Scotland, and so she's kind of drug into the castle and living there, and then she's trying to figure out who she is, what she's going to do in this situation, and the prince's brother tries to drag her into the situation. I actually thought it was the main character falling for the prince, so maybe I'm not as interested in this as I thought I was, but I will give it a little bit of a shot and then we'll see. In that same vein, I also have this contemporary teen romance situation, which is a totally awkward love story by Tom, Ellen, and Lucy Evision, and it just kind of sounded cute and funny and awkward, and I thought I might like it. It's pretty small, even though it's like, you know, 290 something pages, but it looks really small and it's very floppy. On the back it says, "Some loves are meant to be, others are awkward," which I think is funny. And this is following Hannah and Sam. Hannah is determined to find the one before her senior year is over and she goes to college, and Sam is just hoping to get a girlfriend. 5 minutes of spending with each other there. She thinks she's found the one, and he thinks that this is it, this is the one, this is the girlfriend for me. They are separated and they think they're never going to see each other again until they do, but then a misunderstanding and mishaps kind of drive them apart, and I guess they're navigating that. So it sounds kind of cute, but I don't know. I'm not really a contemporary romance type of a person, but I would like to try it. I would like to like it, so we'll see. This one I am really curious about, but I just don't know if I'm ever going to read it, which is why it's on my last chance books pile. That is Made You Up by Francesca Zappia. This is supposed to be following a character that has schizophrenia, which when I heard that, I was very intrigued by. I worked in the mental health field for quite a few years, and so this was really interesting to me, but it's like 400 pages, which is a pretty long book for this. And I've also heard from people that did read it that they didn't think the representation was done well or was good. So I'm not really sure, but I will try to give it a shot and see what I think. But the cover is beautiful. All right, we're in the home stretch right now. The next one that has the price sticker still on it would be Fox by Nadine Brandes. I've heard some people say this is really good. I got it for like $4 and I just thought it was kind of interesting, and it reminded me of V for Vendetta. But I haven't picked it up yet. And I will just give you this like little tiny snippet because I think it summarizes the idea of the book without giving you a lot of information. And it says, Thomas Fox is turning to stone, and the only cure to the stone plague is to join his father's plot to assassinate the King of England. What? Like, doesn't that sound pretty cool? I've heard some people say they really love this. I haven't heard a lot of people talk about it, so I'm very curious about it, so we'll see. Next is The Memory Thief by Lauren Manzi. And I don't remember all of this, but I do remember that memories are like the currency here, so in order to pay for things, you have to trade away your memories, which is horrifying. And on the back, it says, it's always a risk to play with memories, when you can't help but sink into a sea of others' wishes, hopes, and dreams. But if losing myself means saving my mother, isn't it worth it? I think that gives you a little bit of a picture enough, but I just remember being really intrigued by the aspect of trading memories and memories being currency. So it sounds good, but I haven't touched it, so it's on the chopping block. This one is truly one that I don't want to get rid of, and I hope that I like it or that I read it because I love Phantom of the Opera. And that is Roseblood by E.G. Howard. This is a Phantom of the Opera retelling, and it's gender bent. And on the back it says, her greatest talent is also her greatest curse. Oh, this is a little bit different than I thought. So it's not necessarily gender bent. So essentially the main female character has an affliction that every time she sings, she's thought to have like the voice of an angel. It's amazing. But every time she sings, she is sick. She becomes sick. She's shipped off to this boarding school in France because her mother thinks that it's going to help the situation, and she ends up befriending this guy that dresses a little bit differently and wears a mask and is really mysterious, and they kind of start falling for each other. But then the male character is faced with an impossible choice: to lead this female character to destruction or to save her and face the wrath of the Phantom, the only father he's ever known. So that's a little bit more interesting and different than I thought it was, but I really love Phantom of the Opera retelling, so I really hope I like this, but we'll see. So as for now, that is all the books on the Last Chance Books TBR cart. These are the books on the chopping block. These are the books that I have until the beginning of May to read or they're gone. I'm going to try to do the 1 chapter challenge. I'm not sure if I'll film that. Let me know down below if you would like me to film the 1 chapter like not reading vlog, but kind of reading vlog. It'll basically be a reading vlog, but I feel like I'm bad at them. If you would like to see me read the first chapter and kind of react to it and then tell you what I've decided, I can do that, but I will try to get to these. If not, I will read the first chapter, see if I'm feeling it. But by the beginning of May, if I haven't touched them or read any of them, they will be going. I may do this again in the future if it was helpful for me and I think it was worth it. Please comment down below and let me know what you would like to see, if you would like to see me reading the first chapters, or if you would just like to see an updated video of the ones that I do get rid of with my unhaul that will be coming. Just let me know. But as for now, that is it for today's video. So please like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I will see you next time. Stay safe and caffeinated. Bye.